Why, Heidi ho. The message for today, I'm going to go back to someone asked me, sent me a message, wondering what frankism is. So I'm going to try to give a very good, detailed, as much as possible explanation. So, frankism is something. It's a spiritual teaching of Jacob Frank, or Yaakov in Hebrew. And it comes from Shabtai Zevi. So, in English, if you look it up and you Google it, it'd be Sabbatean Zevi. So, anyway, he believed himself to be HaMashiach. So he didn't start off believing he was Messiah. A necromancer convinced him that he was Messiah. So anyway, after being tested, he was told he'd be put to death or he could convert and become a Muslim. So he converted. So anyway, Yaakov Frank believed himself to be the reincarnation of Zevi. And what Zevi believed was bringing about HaMashiach through sin. So all the things you're told not to do, and what some know as the Old Testament, others know as Torah and Tanakh, all the things you're told not to do, they believe that you can do them. So going to the depths of the pit or the swamp, the mire, and then lifting yourself out. So dabbling in things that you're told not to do and doing them purposely to an extent to where you can pull yourself out of the pit. So those individuals might say things like order out of chaos. They create chaos and believe it brings about order. So those are perversions. So think of all the things that you're told not to do in Torah and Tanakh, and what some know as the Old Testament. So, don't uncover the nakedness of your mother. And they will. Don't commit incest. And they will. So, look at the Rothschild family. They're all inbred. And they want to keep it in the family because they're seeking materialism, wealth, and they want to have control of the world. So anyway, all the types of debauchery. So those individuals will make apps like OnlyFans apps was created by a man who calls himself a Jew, but would be more leaning towards frankism. Think about it. So order out of chaos. They try to compel others to do wicked things, but they also like others to do wicked things. So anyway, Yaakov Frank became friends with men of power, so bankers and the royal class, the nobles. Yaakov Frank became friends of them. Why would he become friends of them? Well, don't choose a king with many horses and many wives. It's because they're already power hungry. So he became friends with them because he knew Torah and Tanakh. So there are many wicked men who know Torah and Tanakh and Talmudic teachings and the Zohar, and they will perverse it to convince others to do wicked things. So wars and murder and maiming and so when you look at things like that, when you look at things that are going on around the world, so perhaps maybe a man's in a position of power and he's been compromised. And you befriend him and tell him, oh, it's okay what you've done, but you should do this also. He's already in a egotistic state, we'll call it narcissistic state, maybe a sociopath, or he may be a pure 100% psychopath. So they believe in doing these wicked things and transgressing and trespassing against others, against your God-given rights, your natural rights that you've received. So to be a sovereign is to be like our Imam Abba. So we're to do no harm. So it's not to say that we don't sin. Everybody sins, and it's our responsibility to remove ourselves from that sin. But there are many different reasons for why people have done things they do. Perhaps it's culture and you think it's normal. Perhaps it's your upbringing and things have happened to you in your life. But the frankist ideology, frankism, believes in, oh, we'll go ahead and do all these things. So they're pushing the envelope. So they want to bring about the Holocaust. They want to bring about, think of the hands that are involved in all those things, all those wicked things that have happened throughout history. Those would be the men of renown, the men who want to make a name for themselves. So, kind of like I've said before, a lot of these men who wear nom de guerre, police, federal officers, those men are all suffering from situational narcissism. And yeah, there are maybe some good men in there, but the majority of them are egotistical. And I know because I was there myself. So when we're younger, we lack knowledge and wisdom, and that's when they'll take advantage of us. And they'll try to get us to go in those positions and give us power, and it'll go to our heads. So I know that firsthand. So it's not to say all those men are bad, but they are positions of power. So it's taught that Haman, during the story of Esther, wore a amulet around his neck. Okay, well, where does it land? On his heart. So that's just a teaching that the sages have passed down. So anyway, they believed that he had an amulet. Well, no, it's what was in his heart. He's a narcissist. So he received power from the king, and Mordecai refused to bow to him. So think about that ego, that mindset. That's frankist mindset. So when I do wicked things and I give other men the perception they have authority over others, then that man is going to become egotistical, and I can use that because after all, I'm trying to push sin. I'm trying to push people into the pit, into the mire, order out of chaos. So that's the frankist ideology. So Epstein Island, St. James Island, is no mistake. Try to get men to do things, and then they're part of the club. One big club and you're not in it? Well, you are. You're on the dinner plate. They are like parasites. They live off of your sweat equity, your labor, your God-given divinity, your sovereignty. So we are each created as sovereigns, and we have to remember that. So we have no right to interfere with somebody else's freedom of travel and freedom of movement, freedom of expressing, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of... Let people live. Now, if they come to do harm to you, you have a right to fend them off. So that's the message for today. God bless. Much love.